Hello, folks. How are you doing? Today, we're going to start our class 93. So, let's go. I'm going to start this lesson asking you to talk about this. Can you see this question here? What do you understand by renewable? So, think of this word renewable and just talk about it. You should stop the video right now and then talk talk about what renewable is. Okay? And here we have a very simple explanation. Let me show you. You can see that renewable is something easily used and replaced. So, something that you can replace, it can be renewable. So, let's go to the lesson. After this warm up, we're going to see this practice here. The pictures of this slide show vocabulary that we use to talk about renewable energy. Let's check. So look at all these types of energy. We have solar panels, ground source heating, hydropower, wind turbines, install a system, produce electricity, reliable, and breakdown. So my first question is, which two items produce energy from movement of water and wind? So stop this video, think about it, and answer. Okay? The answer here is hydropower and wind turbines. Number two, which two items describe how energy systems work in a house? So pause again and tell me the answer. So number two is install a system and produce electricity. Okay. Number three, which two items describe how well an energy system works? What do you think? Yes, reliable and breakdown. And number four, which two items use heat or light to produce energy? Stop here and think. Heat, ground source heating, and light, solar panels. So let's go. Warm up. Now you have to talk about these three questions, right? You have to talk. You have to express your ideas. You have to practice your speaking. Number one, have you installed solar panels in your home or do you use other types of renewable energy to produce electricity? If you are a teenager, you can ask your parents or you can tell me if you have these at home, in your home, right? So again, stop this video and talk about this. Number two, does your country produce lots of energy from the sun, wind, or water? Think, stop, and talk about it. And number three, how reliable do you think these types of energy are? So you can talk about that, record your speaking, and send to me by WhatsApp. Okay? So let's go to the listening part. Now we're gonna listen to a podcast, Energy of the Future, and put these topics after hearing, after listening, We're going to put these topics in the order that you hear about them. So we have here fossil fuels, ground source heating, hydropower, solar panels, and wind turbines. So let's listen to the podcast. Pay attention. You can write your answers in a piece of paper following the order that they appear. Let's go.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode in our mini podcast series for beginners. In the last podcast, we discussed climate change. Following on from that, this episode is about how we can produce energy in the future. We're talking to Elliot Barnes, a renewable energy expert. Elliot, what's the difference between fossil fuels and renewable energy?
There are two main differences. Renewable energy, like solar power, will never run out, but there is a limited amount of fossil fuels. In other words, we can completely use up all the oil and coal in the world, but we can never use all the sun's energy.
What's the second difference?
The second difference is that fossil fuels cause global warming or climate change, while renewable energy is cleaner and safer.
Great. So you mentioned solar energy. Tell us more about that.
Solar energy uses panels to catch sunlight and convert it to electricity. Solar power works in many parts of the world, and the cost of solar panels has gone down by 80% in the last 20 years. Because the price is now so low, it seems like a great future source of energy.
Hold on. There's one big problem with solar energy. It doesn't work at night.
You're right. Luckily, there are other types of renewable energy. Wind turbines can produce energy 24/7. These are cheap to operate, although they can be noisy.
I've seen those. I kind of like the way they look. Are there any other options?
Another type of energy that works all the time is ground source heating, which uses heat from the earth.
I think I've heard of that. My neighbor installed a system like that for heating her house.
Yes, it's becoming very popular. It's very reliable because it almost never breaks down.
Are there any problems?
Well, yes, there are. You need a lot of land to heat one home, so it's not very useful in cities. Before we finish, let me just talk about hydropower.
In other words, using moving water to produce electricity.
Yes, this is a very old idea, and it's safe and reliable. The problem is that climate change can affect how well hydropower works.
In what way?
Well, if it stops raining and rivers or lakes dry out, there's not enough water to move the turbines.
Interesting. We're out of time now, so we're going to have to stop talking and say goodbye. Thanks so much for listening.
Okay, did you pay attention? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, it was a very interesting podcast. Do you agree with me? So now let's check. Let's check the answers, right? I don't know if you pay attention, but the number one was fossil fuels. Okay, fossil fuels. Number two, solar panels. Okay, dears. Number three, wind turbines. Number four was ground source heating. And finally, it's number four. And hydropower was the number five. Okay, it was a very interesting podcast. I think I said that before. Sorry. So now we have to answer. Look, listen again and decide if these sentences are true or false. So you can use your book and listen again. Maybe you have the QR code. you can listen again and then decide if the statements are true or false. So you can stop the video right now and listen again, and we're going to go to the comprehension. Number one, there are three differences between fossil fuels and renewable energy. Is that true or false? What do you think? Okay, it is false because there are two differences, right? Fossil fuels run out, and they also cause climate change, right? It's false. Not three, but two differences. So, number two, solar panels have become much less expensive since the year 2000. Is that true or false? What do you think? Yeah, it is true. I think 80%. Yeah, 80% cheaper. There are no problems using wind turbines. Is that true? Number three? No, it's false because they are noisy, right? Wind turbines are noisy. Number four, ground source heating is perfect for producing electricity in cities. Is that true or false? False, because you need a lot of room, right? A lot of land. And the last one, number five, climate change can have a negative effect on hydropower. Yes, that's true. If it stops raining, then there won't be enough water in lakes or rivers to make hydropower work. Okay? So, dear, language point. In this lesson, we will talk about conjunctions. Conjunctions are words that you can use to connect sentences, right? And then I brought you this lesson that you can find on Ellie, okay? And you will see three different texts. One of them, the first one is about raccoons and bears, right? You will read on the alley about raccoons and bears, and you check that there are many conjunctions like these ones, and so, but, as well as. So I'm gonna ask, I've already sent to you this lesson on alley, and then you have this one. The second one's about a prisoner and a bird, and the third one's about Jane and Ian. So listen to them, do the exercise, and send me send them to me so that I can fix and send you the feedback. Okay? See you next class. All right. Bye.